Okay, welcome to part two of this cave scene. We have this top portion configured in terms of the foundation of the rocks and everything like that. And for the reflective area for this, it's not really a reflection card because I'm not going to be using silver down here, but I did think about it because I thought it'd be really dynamic to do that. But the problem with using kind of a printable type of thing, look how incredible that would be, to have those reflections down here in the water. But this type of, surface right here, I can add in, some white brilliance ink and then stamp over it with black brilliance ink and seal it off, but I can't manipulate things as easily as a piece of printable vinyl sticker paper. So I think I'm going to go with that there. Well, I'm sure I am. After a little bit of thought. But I will be able to get this kind of cool looking pool of water down here, with the various effects going on related to the color scheme up top, of course. But also look at this blue mirrored lava paper, how cool that could have been. Imagine some rocks on top of this type of surface right here. But talk about a pretty trippy, type of, color experience that would provide in there. You can see that kind of these little holographic types of things reflecting in there as well. So this one would be even a little bit more mirrored than the printable vinyl. The printable vinyl is not really that mirrored at all, even though it is a metallic. But that being said, we'll go with something like this. Okay, so what this is going to represent is a pool of water down here, and I'll be able to add in some things. I'll be able to color it. I'll be able to color with colored pencils, and just manipulate the piece. I mean, there is a little bit of a reflective quality to it, but I'm not going to be really utilizing it for that purpose. So let's get to it here. All right, so this represents kind of the flat area. I mean, there's going to be rocks in here and they're going to be dimensional, but usually when you have this kind of this horizon card, okay, it's not really a horizon card, but this is, I don't know, it's somewhere in between a reflection card and a horizon card. Usually the horizon card, you have, this is the distance out here and you put something out there, trees or anything like that, a mountain or something like that, where it's going vertical and you'd have something in here in the foreground. This is just going to represent kind of a much more intimate area, small pool, maybe that represents something like, I don't know, whatever, 10, 15 feet across that area like that. Okay, so let's get into it right here. Let me see, let me keep this out for reference. All right, so this whole area right in here, I'm planning on having it darkened because I like going like this, lighter to darker down here, where it transitions into, in this case, water. And that's what I always do in my reflection cards, like where they're going down into the water like that. Those rocks at the base there are a little bit darker. So, so that I don't have this light area going into light like that. I think it transitions better that way. And these are both reflective, so you do have some of this light reflecting back up in there. So that's why I go a little bit darker down this way as well. Okay, so that being said, we're going to do some blocking out. So, I don't know, back to the whole cotton ball type of application of white brilliance ink. I'm looking for a cotton ball that I've used already. Sometimes it's really convenient, or I don't know, better to use a cotton ball that's already been used. I think this is the one that I was using earlier today. It just the ink gets a little bit more compact in here. And I don't know, usually the third time it's a little bit too much, and the surface might be dried out a little bit too much. So I don't know, maybe I should store these in like a Ziploc bag and see if I can use them repeatedly, like over the course of, several different applications. I'm not sure. But eventually this gets so compact. I want a soft application, so I don't want to, have this just solid, applications of a, kind of a caked application of a, heavy ink on my surface. So that's when you know how to switch, when to switch to another applicator, cotton ball. See, something's underneath here. I think I have some glass underneath here or something. Yeah, a piece of that glass. Okay, so down like that. Again, maybe I should just go in straight with the black ink down there. I don't know. Okay, I got to figure out which types of rocks I'm going to use in here. I've been really enjoying the rocks from the latest nature set. These ones right here, and I think these ones will be perfect for kind of right here in the distance. Okay, but I think I want these a little blocked off as well so that I can color in the shadows down here around the rocks. So let me get my bearings here. I'll just come across right here. Let me see, this goes to about right here. And where this white ink goes above probably some of these rock images, hopefully it'll look like it's like mist or something like that, some fog down here. In the movies, they would be using these fog machines in these different areas. Anytime you get something in the darkness, you put a little bit of a fog machine going on, or like in a forested situation. It adds atmosphere, and that's what we're doing with this. Okay, it's blocking out, so we can see our images a little bit more too. But as far as kind of the appearance goes, we want that kind of foggy look. Okay, let me see, these rocks go here. And I have these other ones right here. Right in here. Okay, and then I'll oscillate a little bit. I'll come down about like this height. Okay, so I'll start right here, work my way over. We'll have that little kind of vignette around the perimeter on this lower section, just like we did on that top section. And that'll contain our imagery in a nice kind of framing device. Okay, and once again, you don't have to, apply this super smooth. All right, and then we'll have some rocks here in the foreground, maybe something like this, down here. So that'll go up about right here. See, I'm kind of positioning my images more on this lower section because I know where the images are going to go. On that top section, it was going to get just completely filled in with rocks. So it was kind of, I was kind of more doing like a random style of application of this white pigment ink. I mean, I had a little bit of an idea, but I really didn't know how it was going to be structured completely. I just knew where the opening of the cave was going to go because I had to really plan for that with the, the blocking out of that area. So this lower section should go a lot faster here. Okay, kind of making it somewhat built up down here, but not, completely opaque. I do want some of these colors showing through my rocks. I want that holographic shimmer to be kind of influencing, all of the objects within the scene. So what you do is you just have some of that color showing through, even if you've kind of blocked out, those areas. All right, let me get my bearings here. So that's how that looks right there. I mean, it's a real kind of, you know, blotchy application, right? So like I said, in this type of usage of stamps and technique, you don't have to put it on, smoothly. You don't need your transitions to, you know, blend perfectly or anything like that. Now, just keep in mind, if you're watching this, this printable vinyl, this type of paper takes this ink a lot different than like a cardstock. So sometimes I get people doing it all the time where they just, okay, so they, instead of using Brilliance ink on printable vinyl, for this technique at least, if they're going for the same look or, methodology, they might use a holographic cardstock and they use, like a dye-based ink on it. They're thinking, wait a minute, why isn't this sticking? It's, oh man, this is like really hard. Well, they're using like a completely different, type of two different types of materials. Or they can switch out, what it could be one different type of material, and it's just not working for them. It's because they're almost like the opposite of what this combination kind of represents or what it's made for. This is a printable sticker paper and it's made for water-based media and for grabbing it and having it dry very quickly. Holographic cardstock, metallic cardstocks like mirrored cardstocks, first of all, they're not made for printing on. And like water-based dye inks or something like that, your mementos, your distress inks or something like that, they're not meant to be used on like, it's like using it on plastic or glass or something like that if it's on a holographic cardstock and not the holographic printable vinyl. So just keep that in mind. So just stick with the combinations that work with any type of media combinations that you're trying to employ, not just this one. Okay. You can substitute certain things on certain types of papers. You can use, if you're printing out an impression on matte cardstock or something like that, you can use Brilliance water-based pigment ink. You can use a VersaFine Clear. You can use a dye-based ink. You can use a StazOn. All those types of things, would be fine. But with certain media, you have to go with, kind of what it's capable of. So things like the printable vinyl sticker paper, it's, they didn't really intend for it to be used with stamping, but it's, as you can see, it's perfectly made for it as long as you're using the right materials for it, or right media for it. All right, I think that is it right there. So I put a little bit of a shadow going across there. I didn't really need to do that, but that'll just give me a little bit of a head start when I start doing my shading with my colored pencil. I think it'll save me a little bit of time. Although the colored pencil is like super fast, maybe I shouldn't, be looking to save time with that because the colored pencil is like so much faster than probably applying a layer of this. I don't know. Okay, so let's see. I'm just kind of thinking, do I need to go back over that and smooth it out a little bit like I did on that top portion? I don't think I need to. All right, so let's start. Let's go with these rocks first. I think these ones will be the dominant forms in this lower section, so let's add those on first. This is my tack and peel holding my piece of unmounted rubber down here. Here, let me use this other block. I'll just use a larger block. I washed these off, and I washed it off with a little soap this time. Man, that tack and peel is like, even on my, I don't know, the block that it's been on for, I don't know, maybe 20 years. It is so tacky. It feels like it's brand new. Making sure I have enough ink on that. Allowing that ink to transfer onto there. I'm stamping it both on sticker paper, but I'm also stamping it on top of, the white brilliance, white and black brilliance ink that's been applied. So you're kind of applying it on two different types of, materials. So just allow your impression time to, your media time to transfer. On this, it transfers pretty fast, I believe, but sometimes I have lifted off a little bit early, and I thought, I could have got like a stronger impression probably if I held my stamp down a little bit longer. You have to press longer on this one, but just kind of hold down a little bit. It allows that ink to start transferring and kind of setting up a little bit. I'm wondering, thinking about if I want more in there. I'm not sure. Let me get my bearings here. Let me take a look at this and see how it's going to look. Okay, it looks pretty three-dimensional. Get some more rocks right in here, here. I can use a little bit more over here too, I think. Let me get a little bit more white down here. All right, now see, these are the rocks that I have at the base right over here. Now, it's not a rule or anything like that, but if this is like the other side of this kind of pond type of thing, you know, I can use the same ones again over here, you know, as a kind of a representation for, you know, the kind of the perimeter of this little pond area. Underground, I don't know, underground pond, or I don't know, it could be an underground stream or whatever. Probably only using about half of it this time, but I inked up the whole thing just, you know, just so I don't miss some portion by just inking up half of it. And it's like if I stamp this up a little bit higher, there's not this blank area down below. Let's leave that. I was going to add on another one right there, but I think that kind of slope there is good. All right, so we need some extra texturing in here. I'm going to use 2 different rocks in here, 2 different sizes of rocks. And these little rocks like this, I believe, are going to allow me to utilize things like these shards of glass as like dimensional little rocks down in this area much more gracefully, because I'll have the same type of kind of the size of shape in here, except these ones will just be 2-dimensional and those other things will be 3-dimensional. So let's see what we can do here. Let's take a look and see what it's going to be looking like so far, though. Let's see if we have some good depth working in here so far. Yeah, look at that. Doesn't that look real kind of 3-dimensional? I mean, I realize this is coming out this way, but I think in some ways these rocks look like they're kind of already kind of dimensional and sticking out. And we haven't even shaded them or anything like that yet, but I think that looks pretty decent. That was the Tiny Rocks 328B. Okay. Remember, this pond isn't supposed to be super deep or anything like that. It's supposed to be kind of shallow. It's kind of nice. We have this little corridor of this kind of S curving little body of water. All right, some smaller rocks right here. Tiny rocks, small. It's being added in as both texture and when used in repetition becomes quite good kind of a shading device. Okay, looks kind of busy, but we're gonna blend it up, or I don't know, blend it out a little bit with some shadow work and coloring with our colored pencils. Let's take a look at it again now that we have all of our imagery down there. Okay, looks like that. All right, let's get that shadow work added in there. I need to sharpen my pencils. I have another black though. Okay, so at the base of a lot of these rocks, we'll be adding some shadow touches in here. And we're able to do that again because of the Brilliance ink that was laid down ahead of the impressions. So I can tell even where there's been a tiny bit of that white brilliance laid down here, because the black colored pencil really applies to it in here, but where it's just bare, it feels like I'm just kind of applying it on over the top of, you know, imagine you're trying to scribble onto a piece of plastic or something like that. It's just not going to apply at all. So, like right over here, no black applies, but you can see it right underneath there. It kind of gives those rocks a nice kind of shadow form. Let's see if I can show you right here. Okay, let's see it right in here, like that. Now there wasn't a lot of white here, so I can't apply too much of the black, but I can get a little bit of it down there like that. I'm kind of making my shadows kind of elongated this way because the light, you know, from the my source of light is coming from up here, so I'm going to make these shadows a little bit longer this way. Okay, now these ones right here, you know, the shadows will kind of go up this, well, maybe this way a little bit. See, I don't know if I've added enough white right in here. Let's see if I did. There's not too much. Right up here there is some, though. And, you know, right around on this area. So you can even shade that little rock right there. So it looks more dimensional now. You've added these shadows down here. I'm adding it at the base of the rocks, but leaving the tops of the rocks lighter like that, like it's capturing, reflecting the light. Okay, now down here, you know, I'll model these forms a little bit. So I added some black down here with the black brilliance, but it's just, I don't know, maybe it's easier and faster just doing it with a colored pencil like this. It takes like a couple seconds to do. Even look at it like this looks pretty dimensional that way, doesn't it? So you see, when I thought about, oh, I want to add in some rocks here, that's when I grabbed my, you know, extra white and I laid it down there, so I'm able to shade it now, like that. Kind of giving this a pretty heavy top layer of some black ink, black colored pencil. Right up here, where it's going to transition into the top scene. One of the things I'm not really thinking about now, but I should be, is that other types of media that will be applied down here. Some of those other rocks. So I should be doing. I probably should. I don't know what I would do differently, but there might be some considerations like making some areas in here darker or lighter. More heavy shading in some of these areas with the added textural three-dimensional media to come. Okay. So there's our kind of scenario here, our cave scenario, like that. Let's see, let's adjust right up here a little bit more. I'll go a little bit darker right around the transition into that water area. And some of these rocks. And one of the things I was thinking about was, I don't have to just use black ink right here. So I was thinking, there's a lot of blue tones. Well, there's all kinds of colors in this holographic cardstock, but I thought let's make some of these, color shadows maybe a little bit richer by adding some tone to it. So why not add in like this blue-gray on some of these rocks maybe? I mean, you can make them whatever color you want. They could be a warm color if you want to. But I'll just add a little bit of this gray scale tone into it. Just for a little bit of richness. I don't know if you can even tell with all these other colors coming through here, but let's give it a shot here. Okay, now I still want to have these rocks kind of lighter on the tops of them. So I'm mostly coloring the shadow area. So I'm kind of like tinting my grayscale, black, colored pencil work. Okay, so I'm kind of not putting this, where I didn't add, some gray, with the black pencil. And that way we retain lighting, object lighting in these areas. I mean, I might go into some of it a little bit, but mostly not. Okay, like even in this water area, we'll give it a little bit of a richer value. In this case, we're adding kind of a little bit of temperature to it. A little bit of a blue tone, so kind of a cooler color. It's like a blue-gray. And then I'll do it in here on some of these rocks as well. You can use anything. You can color some of these rocks, a purplish tinge if you want to. Yeah, I like this. I like this color addition. It's pretty subtle, but I can tell. Okay. Put my little figure up here I'm not sure which ones I'm going to use yet. The Explorer or those two Explorer hiker looking guys. And you can also have like birds flying out there or something like that. That'd be kind of cool. But I want those kind of things looking into here. I think this is going to be fun. I can imagine these little shiny little things sparkling in here and, some little effects in here. So I think it's pretty good. I think, I mean, it's kind of hard to imagine that this right here, just alone, with all these holographic types of things in here, look kind of bare. But in playing around with some of these three-dimensional types of things, just even over this last week, I thought, those things really do add quite a bit to a piece. Even though I didn't merge it very well, but I don't know, I find it kind of exciting to have, that dimension, that three-dimensional thing within the pieces. Okay, I'm kind of adding a little bit more contrast on a couple of these areas. So I'm trying to oscillate this a little bit. Dark, lighter, dark, light, dark, light, dark, light, that type of thing. Let's make this right there a little bit darker. I'm not sure. Let me see. Yeah, this just looks better. Hitting it with more contrast now. Now that I can kind of see everything. I want to create a little bit more separation within this space here. Okay, something like that. Yeah, it looks much better. The cave is alive. Okay. All right, so that is the foundation of the piece. We have top card, top half, bottom half. Now, it's just a matter of kind of placing our little special effect types of things. I guess I should think about them in conjunction with one another instead of thinking of these as separate little things to be added in here, because you start adding some of these things down and maybe it's like, oh, you add one thing down, another thing, and maybe it doesn't look so kind of connected. So we want things to be connected and integrated and balanced too. So I got to think of which one of these I'm going to be using. I think silver could look really good in here. I think these multiple colored glass shards would look really good. The holographic glitter, I'm not sure where I would put that. I guess I could put it in some of these shadow areas, where it's more subtle. I'll keep the larger kind of objects in the, closer up. And then maybe a little bit of this kind of more shimmery, powdery type of, oh, this is embossing powder. I don't want to emboss on here, but, and then we also have some glow-in-the-dark things, so I don't know. Is there a place for everything? I'm not quite sure. Oh, we can do like these little glow worms or something like this in here. I'm not sure how much it would glow, but I know we could experiment with that a little bit, right around in here. and see what we can come up with. So exciting times, to be thinking about, true three-dimensional types of effects that are things that we can add to our scenes to make them, I don't know, come alive even more. And I don't know, there's probably a whole bunch of other things too that I'm not even thinking about that could potentially work in here. So I don't know, let me think on this one a little bit, and let's see what I have that we can integrate into our, I don't know what we would call it, Cave of Dreams. I don't know if it's Cave of Dreams. It might look kind of spooky, but maybe with all that extra bling in here, it would be like this gemmed, type of magical cave. So it looks, kind of a little bit ominous right now, I would say, wouldn't you? This dark cave. Let me see. Let's get some of that other types of shimmery looks at this angle right here. With that shardy holographic type of look. But, if we can have some like little twinkly little, kind of reflective jeweled light in there as well, in there, it would suddenly become someplace that looks like, oh my God, it looks dangerous and I don't want to go in there, to, something where you really feel compelled to enter and explore and, I don't know, collect or something like that, right? All right, so stay tuned for part 3. Thanks for watching.